in order to do a refund in our software, you need to go to Manager's menu, Refund. Now, you don't have to be a manager to do a refund in here. However, you do need to have the proper clearance for doing refunds. We discussed this in one of the previous video tutorials where we explained how to fill in the employee table and how to set up, all the things that the employees can and cannot do in the software, and certain clearances for them, if you will. In this menu, when you're doing a refund, all you need to do is enter the invoice number in here or the receipt number and click find. It's gonna find the invoice, pull it up here with all the information, and then you can carry on about the refund options and different ways of refunding it. In this video tutorial, we also want to visit a situation that's very common where, let's say you want to do a refund, but at the moment you don't have the exact invoice number. Like, let's say the customer didn't bring in their receipt, or it's a little illegible if it's an old receipt or something, like you can't read the invoice number. So you may need to look it up, and there's a few ways of looking it up in the software. So let's kind of visit that right now for a moment. We'll go to history and look up past invoices. Now, this screen in here lets you look up invoices in all kind of scenarios. So assuming you even have the invoice number but not the invoice in front of you and you want to see what's in it, you can search by invoice number by just typing it in here and hitting enter or clicking find. But in our case, we came here because we don't have it. So hypothetically speaking, not having the invoice number, we'll have to search by either last name, phone number, email address of the customer, or serial number of one of the sold items on the receipt if we sold something with a serial number and using that feature. So for the purpose of this tutorial, let's go ahead with last name, and we're just going to type in the last name in here for the customer. Enter, click find, and it will give you all the data it has. As you can see in here, we have two invoices under this last name. Invoice number 1, which has 1 line on it, and invoice number 2, which has 3 lines on it. So in this kind of case where you have multiple results, you can just go through the data in this grid in here and pinpoint the one you want, maybe by the date and time, or even the exact items that were sold, in quantity and such information. So let's say right now we're interested in invoice number 2, and we'll go back to the refund process in Manager's menu and select invoice number 2, hit enter or click find, and it's going to pull up the invoice. You can expand any of these columns if you want to view all this data. And you have a few ways of making a refund in here. Let's say we want to simply refund the entire sale. Then we'll just click refund all, this button right here. If we wanted to refund, let's say just one item, let's say line number 2, we select it like so, and click refund selected. If we wanted to refund multiple lines but still not refund the entire invoice, then we'll just hold down the control key on your keyboard so you can make multiple selections on a table, which is a standard Microsoft feature for Windows, and you can just click in here to select the items that you want to refund and leave the ones that you do not want to refund, kind of like this, unhighlighted or deselected. So then you'll just click refund selected again, and it's just going to refund the ones you've selected. Also, if you have a situation like, let's say line number 1 in here has quantity 3 of the same item, and let's say you just wanted to refund 1 or 2 of those, but not the entire quantity 3 that's in that one line, then, like in this case it's Ice Mountain water, let's say they bought 3 and want to return just 1, then you want to select this line and then click uncluster quantity. This is going to break up the quantity of 3 in one line and put them all in their own separate lines, in 3 lines, where then you can select them line by line or the particular one that you want to refund, and leave the rest untouched and click refund selected, and then it's going to select and refund just what you've selected from the broken down quantity that was previously clustered. Now, to keep it simple, for the purpose of this video tutorial, we'll just select to refund the entire invoice and click on the refund all option. Now software is just telling us that the refund was completed and advising us on what kind of change we owe to the customer. And that's how we do refunds.